The battlefield lay in ruins, the air thick with smoke and the scent of scorched metal. Fral'xi warriors, once the pinnacle of elite combat, now lay sprawled across the war-torn ground, their exoskeletal armor shattered, their weapons clutched in lifeless hands. And standing among them was the anomaly, the human. As General Xel'kar gestured toward his warship, the human glanced at the fallen warriors. His expression was unreadable, but there was no denying the destruction left in his wake. The human holstered the plasma rifle and shrugged. "All right, General, you've got my attention." Xel'kar turned without another word, leading the way toward the looming warship. With a flick of his wrist, the stasis lock dissipated, and Valtrax collapsed to the ground, gasping for breath. He watched in stunned silence as the human walked past him, unbound, unafraid. The warship's interior was vast, sleek, and humming with energy. Fral'xi officers lined the halls, their mandibles twitching in silent curiosity as the human strode past them, unshackled and very much alive. Inside the command chamber, Xel'kar took his seat upon an elevated throne of crystalline steel, energy conduits pulsing along its edges. The human, ever defiant, leaned against the chamber wall. Xel'kar's eyes glowed softly. "You intrigue me, human. My kind has fought hundreds of species, conquered entire civilizations, yet you, alone, have done what no army could." The human smirked. "Flattering, but I doubt you called me up here just to stroke my ego." Xel'kar leaned forward. "Indeed not. I want to know what you are." The human's grin faded slightly. He exhaled, crossing his arms. "I don't know. Not really. All I know is, one day, I stopped dying. The room darkens. A memory unfolds. A cold, sterile lab. Scientists hover over a lone figure strapped to a table, their voices muffled beneath heavy respirators. The human's voice echoes over the memory. "I was an experiment, a soldier, meant to be enhanced beyond human limits. But something went wrong, or right, depending on who you ask. The scene shifts, rapid flashes of war zones, of him falling in battle, bleeding out, only to rise again, wounds closing like they had never existed. Again, and again, and again." Xel'kar's expression darkened. "You are unnatural," the human chuckled. "That's one way to put it." The Fral'xi leader tapped a clawed finger against his throne. "What do you seek? Power? Dominion?" The human's gaze was distant. "Freedom." Xel'kar tilted his head. "From what?" The human met his eyes. "From those who made me." Before Xel'kar could respond, an alert blared through the warship. A holographic display flickered to life, revealing an incoming fleet. Massive, menacing, and distinctly human. A voice crackled over the intercom. "Fral'xi vessel, this is Admiral Kale of the United Earth Dominion. Surrender the asset immediately." Xel'kar turned to the human. "They seek to reclaim you." The human smirked, but there was no humor in his eyes. "Yeah, and they won't stop until they do." Xel'kar rose from his throne, pacing to the ship's control panel. "You are a weapon they cannot afford to lose." The human cracked his knuckles. "I'm not a weapon, not anymore." The Fral'xi General studied him for a long moment. Then, to the surprise of his officers, he turned to his fleet commander. "Prepare for battle." Valtrax, still recovering from the earlier fight, snapped his head up in shock. "General, we're going to war. For him, Xel'kar's voice was firm. No, we're going to war for the right to choose our own fate. The Dominion thinks they own everything they create. Today, we prove them wrong. The human grinned. Now, we're talking. As the Fral'xi warships roared to life, the Dominion fleet loomed closer, their weapons primed and ready. The void of space would soon be lit with fire and destruction, and at the center of it all, one man stood, an anomaly, a curse, a weapon, or perhaps something more. The human cracked his neck, stepping onto the bridge. Let's see if they bleed like the rest. And with that, the battle began. The first Dominion warship fired, streaks of plasma slicing through the darkness. Fral'xi vessels maneuvered with surprising agility, evading the first wave of attacks, before countering with their own salvo. The battlefield ignited, ships spiraling in an intricate dance of destruction. On board the flagship, Xel'kar issued orders with calculated precision. Deploy interceptors, target their thrusters, force them into close combat. The human stood beside him, watching the carnage unfold. You're fighting smart. I like that. Xel'kar barely glanced at him. Your people believe themselves superior. They do not expect resistance. The human's expression hardened. Then, let's show them just how wrong they are. With a nod, Xel'kar granted the human access to the ship's tactical controls. Without hesitation, he rerouted power to the rail cannons, taking aim at the Dominion command ship. Time to knock on their door, he muttered before unleashing a devastating barrage. The Dominion flagship reeled, its shields flickering. Panic spread through their ranks as Fral'xi warships exploited the opening, closing in like predators, sensing weakness. Inside the Dominion bridge, Admiral Kyle slammed his fists against the console. Impossible. That ship was not meant to fight back. But it was too late. With one final coordinated strike, the Dominion flagship's defenses crumbled. The human grinned as Xel'kar issued the final command. Fire. A beam of pure energy lanced through the Dominion command vessel, engulfing it in a fiery explosion. Silence fell over the battlefield. Narrator, voiceover. The Dominion fleet hesitated. Their leader was gone, and in that moment of doubt, the Fral'xi pressed their advantage. The battle was won, and the human was finally free.